I want to start a business, but I just don't know where or what to exactly start. This has been a question that has been popping in and out of my mind, especially in last year, but really quite a lot this year. And it actually started, in the start of the year, and 1st of January, everyone's kind of like motivation is sky high and everything as well. Intrinsically, mine was very high as well. But my philosophy as well is always like it should remain high regardless of which month and which day you're at. So whether that be January 1st or October 8th, doesn't matter. It should still be sky high. So at the start of the year, the idea of having a fresh reset, kind of a fresh, clean slate is nice. And I know one thing that it's definitely been on my mind in December, and I carried on for January, is definitely wanting to start a business, definitely wanting to start something, but I just didn't know what. I just don't know exactly what. And I'm the kind of person that I've noticed this a lot, and I've noticed this especially in January and February. Now it's March, just started March. So this is like a massive talking point, because I'm literally coming out here with fresh perspective and from literally just like my own experience. And I really wanted to treat the first 3 months, the first quarter of this year, as something called the knowledge acquisition phase, which basically means acquiring as much knowledge as possible in order to make a rational and logical decision. And I really want to emphasize the word rational and logical, because I think if you start making emotional decisions, especially about something as significant as your future, then more often than not, they might not be the right decisions, the right choices, because you're acting on pure emotion and it's kind of within that moment. And I'm not going to lie, this is something that I do a lot and I have done for most of my life. So I wanted to make a change where I just wanted to make decisions based on logic and rationale. And that's the whole idea of the knowledge acquisition phase. Is the first 3 months I really wanted to learn about different industries, different kind of business models, different kind of things, like whatever I wanted to achieve, I wanted to first learn about it first, and to be fully knowledgeable, fully dive in to that topic before committing to anything. And along that journey, especially in January and February, what I noticed is that I'd kind of hop on to whatever trend or whatever thing I heard at the time and kind of wanted to do that. So, for example, at the end of January and at the start of February, I have a friend who was talking to me about crypto. Now, obviously, crypto it's huge. It's been around now for quite some time, but I've never really gone into it properly. And I've certainly not in a position where I can give advice or like even talk about it to like on a YouTube video or nothing like that. But one of my friends is like, he's proper into it. Like that's his thing. Like it's his personal hobby, but it's also he likes to do this full time, and not full time, but like he likes to do this on a very regular basis, whether that be investing in crypto or or something else. Damn. This guy's putting the lights on and it's a bit too bright for me. Okay. That was I hate them when that happens, when they don't realize, but they put their bright light on and it just blinds you in your mirror. But I was saying, my friend, he's proper into crypto and he was talking to me about it, and I was getting so hyped up. Emotionally, I was getting so flared up and I was like, damn, this is it, this is it. And then, I literally spent like a whole week trying to research it, get into it, and it was good and everything, but then it kind of died down. That it was like an initial period of just excitement, and then it just died down. And then now I just don't feel like I want to do it. But at the start of when he first mentioned it, at the start of that week, I was proper into it. And in my mind, I was like, I'm going to do this. I want to commit my time into doing this. But then it just died down. And this is not the only example that I've gone through. I've had moments where it could be anything. Like literally, maybe a month before that, I was really into this thing called Amazon FBA, which basically is selling things on Amazon, right? You get it from a cheaper price from somewhere else, and you sell it online. I was researching other models like drop shipping. You've heard the lot. It was like really like interesting, and I was like, okay, you know what? This sounds sick. I want to invest in this. Like I want to invest my time into doing this. And then that initial excitement just died down again. And it got to a point where, you know, I was like, I realized that this is a tendency now. It's happened multiple times. And I'm not making progress because I'm starting something, getting all rallied up and excited about it, and then some time goes by and I stop. And then I'm back at square one and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? So then I wanted to really deep dive into this question, and I tried to research this across different on websites, on forums, videos, and it all hit me once I did that research into what you need to do. And basically, one of the videos actually that recently I saw, which was a podcast done by Mr. Beast. So it wasn't his podcast, but like someone invited him over, and he was talking about, you know, the come up of his channel and like how much he dedicated. He sacrificed a lot of his, you know, free time, and he sacrificed like literally 90% of his time into his channel, and it kind of developed into from a kind of a competitive mindset where he just wanted to be the best and like outcompete all the other YouTubers around him and just put in the hours so that he outworked everyone else. And I mean, clearly he's at where he's at because of that and other things along the way, but it's his sheer ability to focus and to be disciplined on one thing and one thing alone that really got him there. And this was confirmed to me by, you know, I mentioned this before, but it's a concept that even Alex Hormozy talks about, who explained that at the startup phase, at the come up phase, you don't really have much to show for apart from your attention and your time. And it's very closely linked to your success because number one, your attention, your ability to focus on one thing, combined with the amount of hours that you can put into that thing, will propel that thing or that vehicle into success. When you start diversifying, meaning if I start doing a little bit of Amazon FBA, if I start doing a little bit of crypto, if I start doing a little bit of YouTube and other things along the side, then my attention span isn't fully devoted into something, and I can't put my hours into that thing for it to propel and to progress further. And honestly, this was just hit me, and it's so true. And I realized like me hopping through different ideas and different things, and then starting with high ambition and high emotion where I really want to do it, and then realizing a week later that it's not really for me, and then doing that over a period of time, I'm not actually going to get anywhere. I'm not getting actually progress and work done. And because of this, I realized that I have to find something, a vehicle, a vessel, whatever you want to call it, where I can commit to for a long period of time and put my, you know, hours into it for it to progress. And that is basically what a business is. A business, from especially when you're starting from ground zero, from scratch, all the way up to like whatever dream you want to have it to, it requires a lot of upfront work. And for that upfront work to happen, you have to put time, attention, and make sacrifices for. So the key thing then becomes, what would you do that will allow you to commit full effort, full force? I kind of took a step back and realized like I'm trying to assess things that have just been key themes in my life, throughout my life. And I realized like video editing, kind of storytelling, or content production, content creation was that thing. I just recognized that I was really into all of this when I was a kid, starting at the age of like 9, and throughout from 9 until now, there have been periods of like me going up in terms of like really wanting to make content and periods of not really. But then that was apparent through like a good 15-year window. So then I realized like, okay, deep down, this is what I actually like. And it's true, like I just asked myself, do I actually like this? And I'm like, yeah, 100% I do. Of course I do. And I think people around me that know me, my friends, would also agree. Like if someone asked me like, do I like skateboarding or do I like video editing or whatever, they will always say video editing because they know me. And you have to know that within yourself as well. Like what would you really like to do? Like what is it, that one thing that you like, right? Is it, I don't know, are you into cooking? Have you always been into cooking? Or maybe you might not even like something, but maybe you just have an inherent skill that you're like, okay, I'm actually really good at doing this. And I've been doing this for actually so long. And, compared to people around me, I am better at them at doing this one particular thing. And because if you assess yourself and you're like, oh, actually I'm very good at doing this thing. It could be anything. It could be writing, for example. I'm a terrible writer, right? But let's say you're a really good writer and you're like, you didn't really realize this, but you've been complimented on your writing style before. You've never thought about writing in a professional sense, or even definitely not in a business sense. People have told you that, you know what, you can do it. You've also had moments in your life you're like, okay, this is actually really good, and yeah, I've had great feedback. But you've never really put the time into like honing it or taking it to the next level. And I think once you find that one thing that you really feel like it resonates with you specifically from your experience, from your history, then you can start to double down. And the reason why I say that is because if you find that one thing that you really like and that you really enjoy doing, then it becomes easy for you to dedicate and allocate your full attention into that thing. And I'm linking this back to me wanting to do crypto because my friend said it and he was really passionate about it. And then all of a sudden when I started, I started off as a really high. Like I was, yes, I'm doing this. I love doing this. It's amazing. I love learning about this. And then it gradually went down and down and down and down. Towards the end of the week, I'm like, yeah, it's not really for me. Whereas for him, that is his thing. And for me, it's video editing. So you can't swap that. Like I can't tell him to do video editing because it's not inherently like he doesn't actually like it. But he could do something combined with something that with crypto for it to grow. So the point is find something which it's basically like we call it a vessel or a vehicle, aka your company. What is it going to be focused around? And just you're able to then allocate your full attention span and you're able to allocate hours. Just like that video I was talking to you about before about Mr. Beast, where he was saying he would just outwork everyone. Just because he can put the hours in, he's able to do it. And you're going to hate it. There are going to be points in your journey that you will absolutely hate it. But then no matter what, you will come back to it because you're only hating the temporary moment. You will come back to it because deep down you have a desire for it. And I want to say this in a footballing sense, not footballing, sorry, basketballing sense. I was listening to, or reading actually, one of what Kobe Bryant was saying, and he would put crazy hours. Of course, you would know about this, but like he would put in insane amount of hours into basketball itself, and then he just said it's just because he loved the sport so much. And it's same thing for football. You probably are someone like Messi or like Ronaldo or whatever, someone at the highest point of their game. Inherently, they love it. They love the game, and then the rewards after it. But before they became that person, they loved that thing. So when you start a business, you have to ask yourself, like, are you in it for the long term? Like, can you commit through the glory days and the dead days? The days where you feel like you just want to give up, but you love that thing that you don't give up. Can you commit to that? It's a simple formula. It's like you can look around it wherever you go. Like, the people that are really good at something, they've put a lot of hours into it. They've put crazy amount of hours into it. And along those hours, they've learned new things about themselves. They've able to kind of tailor their own specific skills and attributes towards that one thing. Whether it's the best gamer in the world at a specific game, they put hours into it. I remember when I was in school, I used to play Pokemon, and I used to bring my DS into school. This is when I was about 14 years old, and I just beat everyone in my school. And the only reason is because number one, I just loved that TV show, that game. And if you look at the number of hours, I put in like, I don't know, 200 hours into it. And whereas someone else who I was playing against only put in like 50. So like it is hours as well. It really is hours mostly. And once you understand this concept, I don't know, like it's game on.